Hey everybody, Vasky here. Welcome to a new world in 1.8 and to a new mod. This mod is called Psy, as you can very clearly see, and it is very early in development, but I think it's gotten far enough that I can show you guys some stuff. Now, Psy can be either read as itself, as in the Greek letter Psy, or it can be read as Psionic Spell Instrument. I'll tell you what that is in a moment. But first, let's get our basic blocks set down here. So you have the CAD assembler and the spell programmer. Now this mod is all about utilizing magic in the form of technology. So we gotta get started by creating one of these. These are a CAD, a casting assistance device, and yes, before you ask, the mod is definitely based on Mahoka. It's not a Mahoka mod, it's just themed around it and taking some inspiration from it. So to get our CAD settled, we are going to need an assembly, and that's all we need right now. Let's just make one with an assembly. And as you can see, our stats aren't all that great because we are just using the assembly and missing the other pieces. But let's make a very basic one. Alright, so here's our CAD. Now this is just for testing, but the first time you use it, this bar is going to show up. And that is your Psy bar. That is the energy your player has to be used on spells later on. As you can see, it's regenerating by itself. Right now the maximum is 200, but there will be ways to advance it later on once the mod is complete. So, this is the casting assistance device, which means we need to do something to cast with it. And if you look at it, you see spell selected, none. We need to get a spell. To select a spell, you can just press C. Oh, we have no spells. So, before we can make a spell, we're going to need something that's better than this old junk. So let's get rid of it. And as you can see, the bar goes away. Let's make one with all the pieces. One of each. A battery. Now, the only important pieces for spellcasting are the core and the socket. The battery is optional, but very useful, and so is the colorizer. The colorizer only works if you want to have custom colors for your spells. Let's make a pink one. Now, as you can see, we have actual stats, not everything at 0. Let's make it. There we go, we got it, and our CAD bar is back, but now the bar is pink, not blue. So let's make a spell. To make a spell, you're going to have to program it using this feature here called the CAD programmer. Now, we can see there's no spell, and spell has no tricks. That's our current error. And what does that mean, you might ask me? Well, a spell is something, it's basically just a sequence of actions that can interact with the world. Interactions with the world are done through what's called a trick. So if we right click, and we go here, we can see here's the trick. There's trick debug. Let's add it, and now we're getting a different error, not the error of has no tricks. So let's add this again, and the error is a required parameter is not set. This is highlighted in exclamation marks so you can know that's the one that's problematic. So here are our parameters, the parameters for this object here. If you can see a dot in the middle, that means the parameter is optional and you don't have to set it if you don't want to. So it's not right now. But this one is not optional because it doesn't have a dot in the middle. We have to select a side for it. So let's make it go to the left. Now you can see we have a blue arrow pointing to the left. That will be where a parameter is going to come in. And as you can see, a parameter is facing an empty cell. As it is, there's nothing here. This is trying to get something that's here, which is not. So now let's add something here to debug with. Let's add a selector caster. This piece, all it does is grabs the entity casting the spell, aka the player. You can see, selects the person casting the spell. And the orange text is what it gives out. It gives out an entity, which is a player, and it's also a living entity. That's important. If you're going to trick debug, you can see for testing, print out the target. It doesn't give anything out because it's none. In our parameters, we have target, which can be any type, and we have number, which is a number constant. You can see it's within square brackets because it's optional. And now we have some stuff on the right. These are the stats of our spell. We have complexity, potency, cost, projection, and bandwidth. Complexity, potency, projection, and bandwidth are tied to the stats on your CAD. So you have potency, complexity, projection, and bandwidth. So potency is in your assembly, complexity and projection are in your core, and bandwidth is in your socket. If you look at them, you can see they all have a description. So this one is the amount of actions, the power of the spell, the amount of tricks, and the spell width or height, whichever is the largest. You can see this spell's width is 2, so bandwidth is 2. Amount of tricks is 0, because this actually doesn't interact with the world, it just prints out some text, so it doesn't count. And complexity is 1, which is the amount of actions. Again, this doesn't count, so our only action is this selector casted over here. Potency, no, the spell doesn't really do anything, so it's 0, and of course, the cost is also 0. So let's name this spell as debug, and let's put it in our CAD. To do that, we're going to need a spell bullet. So let's grab it and set it. You can see it's called debug. So let's put it in here, and some slots open up. As you can see, we have 4 sockets in our socket, so we have 4 open slots to put bullets in. And now, if we press C, we can see we have some stuff. We can pick out which one we want. We want the debug spell, and if we use it, it prints out me, my name, my world, and my coordinates right here. We also have the optional parameter, which is a number. A number takes a constant over here, and to set the number of the constant, you just highlight it and type whichever number you want. So let's do 2. Let's rename this to debug 2. Let's update our bullet. Let's run it now. And now it prints out a number 2 for my entity. This can be useful if you have a very complex program and you want to find if stuff is going correctly. So now let's make something more complex. Let's make one that makes me jump. So we're going to want a trick add motion, which adds motion to an entity. So let's add that. We're going to need a target, which is the entity. See? So let's grab me. We're going to need a speed, which is the velocity at which the thing is going to happen. So let's do 3. Now we're going to need a direction. A direction is a vector. Now, as you might know, a vector is just 3 numbers. So let's grab that. Let's make our vector using a vector construct, which takes x, y, and z and returns a vector. Let's do that. Let's make x be on the left, y on the bottom, and z on the right. X is 0, y is 0, because we just want to jump high, not forwards or to the side. And the y can be 1, and then it multiplies it by the speed over here. And now we're starting to get to more complexity, because we have 3 actions. 1, 2, 3. We have 15 potency, which is equivalent to our number. So our number is 3. If I was to increase it to 10, you can see the potency increases to 50, and so does the cost. Let's go back to 3. As you can see, the cost of our spell is 60, but it's actually 85. Why? Because our CAD has 70 efficiency. Efficiency is the percentage of psi that's actually used, as in what you see in real life. So we have 85, which is actually what's going to be used, but the spell's actual cost is 60. But when we use it, we are going to lose 85 psi out of our bar right here. So let's put it in a new bullet and add it. Oh, let's not name it debug, let's name it jump. Okay, now let's put it over here and cast jump. Now look at my psi bar on the right. You see I have lost some psi, and there's also been some particles going on telling me a spell has happened. Now remember the cost is 85, so let's do it once. And I paused the game on purpose. You see now I have 51 left, and this number here is the amount left on my battery. That's the overflow stat. So when I go back, since the spell costs 85, I have enough combined in my battery and in myself to use it. That's gonna happen. But now I have to wait till the battery is fully recharged till I can cast it again. You can hear me clicking and nothing's happening. But once it's recharged, once I have at least a piece of psi to use, I can cast the spell again. If for any chance you happen to go above the amount of psi in yourself plus your battery, you are going to take damage equivalent to the surplus. So, let's make a more interesting spell, right? Let's make one that instead of moving me upwards, moves me exactly where I am looking. So to do that, we are going to need a entity look operator. This one gets an entity's look vector, so it gets where I'm looking. If I go here and I press F3 plus B, you can see this rabbit is looking over here. That's the blue vector. That's the blue line. The blue line is where the entity is looking. Now this vector is normalized. It's length 1, so we can use it right here. So we're still going to need a direction, but we can't get from here to here. So what we can do is add a connector that points to the left. And it also connects to the top because we have something pointing there. If we move this to the right, you see now it doesn't connect anymore. Now it does. So let's name this one to jump forward. And let's move this to 4. Okay, let's make it daytime. Let's grab another spell bullet and add it over here. Now if we pick jump forward, we are going to jump forward. Makes me jump high and forward. Cool. But now imagine I want to jump forward, but also always jump even if I am looking down. Right now I'm not jumping, I'm just moving, so dashing, if you will. Let's grab this vector and let's make a vector add, which is right here. This adds, where is it? This adds two vectors, the vector sum, it's a plus b plus c, c is optional. So we're going to add the vector on the left and the vector on the right. We're going to use our construction again, doing the same thing. So let's go 0, 0, and 1. Jump forward, and jump forward, up. Let's update our spell. We jump forward, up. And if I use it, even if I'm looking down, I will jump up, because we are adding one y to our vector that is being used for our jumping up. Alright, so that's a usage of jumping. We can also, if we want, take these and let's move this up one. If you don't mind, we have this here, this was here, this was a 3, that was here, right? So targets, speed. And now we're going to do a thing called an inversion. Oh, that's how the connector here. We're going to do an inversion of a vector. So that is this one over here. That's going to negate the vector. So the vector is going this way, but now it's going to go. So if the vector was going to go this way, it's going to go this way. It's going to go backwards. So you also want to make this -1, so it doesn't make us go down. So let's point this down, and this is going to need a 0, y, which I removed for some odd reason. And this one is going to be renamed jump backwards and up. Let's grab our old bullet, update it. You can see it launches me backwards and up. So that's a very simple example of a thing you can do using this spell system. Of course, later on there will be a lot more things, like if you were to take this, let's make another fun one. Let's go, oh, I should never move that actually. Well, let's go cross product, which is this one over here. And this is going to grab a vector that is perpendicular to two given vectors. So let's make a vector here. This one is going to be 0, 0, 1, same thing. That's why I should never moved it. And let's rename this one to jump sideways. Why is that? Because we were going to get one that is perpendicular to where I'm looking and perpendicular to y. It's going to be jump sideways. So let's update it. Okay, so let's update it, and now it's going to make me jump sideways. See? Sideways. So there's an example of a thing you can do using cross product. Now let's do something else entirely. Let's go explosion. Make an explosion, and we want to make an explosion to the place where we're looking at. So right now I'm looking at a gravel. I want to explode that gravel. I don't like that gravel. So we're going to want to find the place where the player is looking. That's done via a raycast. Remember that this vector look ends. Could you stop for a moment? It ends right here. As soon as the blue line ends, that's where the vector ends. So if we were to explode using the look vector, it would explode right on our faces. We don't want that. We want to do a raycast. A raycast takes a point and a vector, and it finds from that point and that vector where the vector intersects. So right now you can see I'm looking at the gravel. If I was to do a raycast from here using my look, it would stop at the gravel because it's going to intersect a piece of the world. Let's do that. So a raycast is going to need a position, a ray, and a maximum distance. Now the maximum distance right now is 32. That's the maximum you can go. If we go here, we can see max 32. The position is going to be the player's position, which we already know how to get. We can do what's this? And we don't know yet. That's a new thing. Ends the position. It gets where I am right now. So let's grab me as a target. Let's make a target. Me. And now we're going to need a ray, which is going to be my look. So here, using me. And now this is going to need a position, which is to the end of the ray trace. And we also need the power, which is going to be 3. Now, this is going above our potency. We can only do 200. We can only do 100, sorry. So let's upgrade our CAD with some more powerful stuff. So let's use this one, the hyperclocked core. Let's use a large socket, a larger battery, and let's make it rainbow, because why not? Alright, now you can see we have more than enough space, and we also have more projection and a lot more complexity. So we can fit this in here. So let's have a bullet. make our explosion spell. Now, before I do that, actually, let me store this in a chest for a second, because I want to show a thing off. Let me grab one of my pre-made CADs. This is equal to the one we just made a while ago, the iron one, the basic one. If we have two CADs, our bar disappears, because you can only have one. Let's store this one, and put our explosion in here. If you try to do it, you can see our stats are too weak, because it requires potency 210, and we only have 100 in our CAD. So let's get this out of here. Grab the good one, put our explosion in there. And now if we were to explode, it will explode on the gravel, because that's what we're looking at. See? And it's using up our CAD's battery. There we go. We're looking over there. So there's an example of an explosion you can do. But, as I told you, this is limited to 32 blocks. What if we wanted to destroy that witch hut over there? You're gonna need something bigger. So let's change to a projectile. We can have various types of spell bullets. There's a spell bullet, the projectile spell bullet, and the loopcast spell bullet. Now the loopcast is not implemented yet, so I'm not going to show you. But let's make a projectile one. Now this one is going to fire a projectile, and when it hits something, it's going to run whatever the spell has. Now, we don't want to use selector caster, because that selects the person casting the spell. If I was to use that, the explosion would happen on me. We want the explosion to happen on the position of the projectile when it lands. So let's use selector focal point instead. And let's go explosion, position, and let's do power 3. Oh, right. I need to use a vector for the position. Entity, position, target, and now we're okay. So let's rename this to explosion projectile, so I know that I'm using the right one, not the explosion one. Let's do it. Add it. And now if we change to it, and we shoot it right over there, let's get closer so we can see the explosion. If we shoot it, it will make a projectile and explode when it lands. There we go. So that's one more thing you can do. Now imagine you want to know where the position is. Well, we can just add this here, target this, and update our spell. And that's going to tell me where it is when it lands. See, that's that position of that over there. That doesn't show me the explosion because I was too far away. But rest assured, it definitely exploded. Okay, so let's make one that's a bit more complicated. Let's make one that makes me shoot, and also makes me go backwards. So let's go selector caster. This is just going to be the same thing as the last one. So let's go get look. We don't need this anymore. We get the look. Now let's go add motion. Targets, direction, and speed. Now you're going to want to negate this so it moves me backwards. So negate vector. And the speed is going to be 2. Now you can see as soon as I make this 2, it adds to my cost and to my potency. So it's the combined of 2 of them. And now we have 2 tricks, 2 things that interact with the world. We have add motion and explode. So this is a true. So it's going to be, I gotta deselect this so I can type, explosion, jump back. Let's make this a new thing. Now this is going to, so when it lands, it's going to make me jump back. Oh, it didn't. Why did it not do that? Let's see. Maybe it's too weak. Oh, I was using the explosion one, not the explosion jump back, right? Explosion jump back. Now it's going to make me jump as soon as it hits. Still didn't, okay. That's weird. I don't know. Something here is broken. I have to figure that out, but you have an idea what's going on, and, well, now you know. Oh, I think I know why. It's because the collision doesn't work on the client properly, so I have to fix that, but yeah, that's an example of something you can do if this was to be a normal spell. Jump back normal one. This one is going to make me jump for sure. See? Because that one isn't the projectile. I have to fix the projectile one. But as you can see, you can combine various effects in one spell. And now, right now, you have a very limited section and types of spells you can have. These are the only two that interact with the world right now, but of course, as development goes on, a lot more will be added. So thanks for watching, and hope you're excited. I am excited. It'll be out sometime. I don't know when. Don't ask me when. Alright. See you.